Hey there, I'm Lance.
And I'm Jeremy.
And we are Hard to Master, where we take a look at games that are
Hard to master.
Such as
So You've Been Eaten
by LudiCreations. This is a game for 0 to 2 players. That is right. 0, as in no one playing. Now, the game doesn't actually play itself.
Like it would still be a one-player game because you would have to move the pieces, but in theming, it would be a 0 player.
That's right. The game plays against itself, but you have to move the pieces, flip over the cards, roll the dice. You get the idea. So I don't know that I've ever seen a game quite like that. Have you ever seen a game like that before?
Injustice, Mortal Kombat. You can simulate rounds to boost your character.
A board game.
Maybe not board game. I mean,
okay,
that I can think of.
Yeah, I've never seen a board game that is able to play without anybody actually controlling one of the characters or players.
Well, you're controlling them.
You
just don't have any tie to it. Yeah.
Now, in this game, the theme is very interesting, along with the name, So You've Been Eaten. The theme of this game is that one player plays as a space miner who is traveling through outer space and has purposefully gotten eaten by a beast of sorts.
Yeah, the beast.
Space worm. And so one player plays as that miner, the other player plays as the beast. And what you are trying to do if you are the miner is you are trying to collect these gems. And we do have some upgraded components here. There are several different...
So these might be in the base box.
Oh, are they?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
When they sent this to us to review, I mean, there's a couple different levels and stuff, but I'm not sure if these are in the standard game or not, or if it's just a cardboard set. So I think they have 2 or 3 different boxes. So it's a little confusing on which one I actually got.
Okay.
But it does have these translucent,
and they're nice.
Plastic
They're
ones.
really nice pieces. You are trying to collect all 8 of these. There are 8, right? Yeah. And if you're able to do that at any point throughout the course of the game, you automatically win if you're the miner. Because that's what you're trying to do. That's your whole purpose in life, is to collect these gems. Now, if you are the beast, you are trying to devour the miner before they are able to harvest the 8 crystals. And the way you do that is you have different bacteria that you are trying to advance along these tracks. And if you can get any one of those 4 to the 4th spot, then boom, you have dissolved the miner, his body is toast, and you win the game. Now, if at any point throughout the course of the game, you did not accomplish one of those 2 things and the game goes all the way to the end, then you're going to score some points to determine who is the winner, and the miner, I guess, gets expelled from the beast through...
defecated.
Defecated, there you go.
We're using big words here on Hard to
words,
Master.
Scientific space words.
Not pooped. Defecated.
But anyhow... that's what is going on in this game. The mechanics that you have in this game are pretty simple, and it's asymmetrical if you haven't figured that out. As the miner, you're going to be rolling dice, and you're going to be using those dice to do certain things on your control board here, doing different actions to repel these different digestive cards that are going to be traveling along this track here to hopefully harvest some crystals and repel bacteria, or maybe some tools that you'll gain throughout the course of the game. You're going to be pushing these cards back or getting them out of the digestive tract. And that's ultimately the time factor with this game. You get through this deck of cards and you've passed through the beast's digestive tract. You can unlock certain things on your board. In fact, you're going to want to upgrade your board, because if you don't and you take damage and you lose your crystals, you're going to be losing your upgrades on your board as well with that. So, but really, it's all about what you're able to roll and using your dice efficiently and effectively to help you achieve your goals. Jeremy, you want to talk about what the Beast does and how they're trying to take out the miner?
Well, I mean, the Beast is going to be having a hand of cards, which will have different germs on them, And then there's a couple cards that are just a bluff card that they can play to try and match what cards you're trying to push so that they can ultimately cause you to lose upgrades. In addition, they will have these immunization cards, which can do different things like this one, replicate. If this card is the only replicate currently acquired, immediately acquire the next immune response card and reveal a new one. So these can ramp up very quickly. These are make it much tougher for the miner in being able to do their different actions. So these different things will help you to go along and have your win condition met as the beast.
And primarily the mechanic there with the beast is hand management and a little bit of betting, I guess, trying to bet which bacteria is going to strike next. So it's a pretty quick game. I think the box says, what, 30 minutes on there? Is that what it says? 20-30 minutes?
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But and it goes pretty smooth. I mean, I would say even solo, the first time it is going to take a little longer just to use it, but the second and third and fourth, and as you continue to play it, it will be a pretty quick game.
Yeah.
And you can play it in about 20 minutes easy. Because it flows pretty smooth. You know, you're rolling these die, you do that, you assign them and reactivate them if you have the opportunity, you refill cards, you shuffle cards down, and so it goes pretty smoothly and it's easily to manage as you go. So
let's talk about our thoughts on this game. We have played it solo, 2-player, and so we know this game pretty well by now. I'll go first and share my thoughts on it. I don't know that it is 100% balanced between both sides of this game. Playing as the miner, I feel like, is a tougher challenge than playing as the beast. I think the beast has a little bit of an easier time accomplishing his or her goals because you have this separate win condition that you can get through the immunization cards. And while that can be a bit of a crapshoot, you're not exactly sure how things are going to shake out, you can really constrict what the miner is able to do and place a lot of burdens on the miner player that they're having to just kind of scramble and try to manage a lot of different things. And that can be too much for them to overcome at times. As the miner, you're really relying upon a lot of luck, it feels like, with your dice rolls. You can get some really crappy rolls, and you're gonna turn into crap, unfortunately, in this game, literally. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that. I will say the tools are super important on surface level. They don't seem like they're there to do a whole lot for you. Using them can save you in a really tight pinch, though, and so you definitely want to take advantage of those. I feel like overall it's a
trade-off, though, because you've got to get these gems, and if you don't take care of the gem card, there's only 2 of each one in the deck, and so if it goes away a second time, you're not going to be able to get it.
You're going to be playing for the end game, hoping to have more points than the beast, because you can't win midway through the game if you miss out on both cards that let you get the 1 gem that you really need. So
I mean, ultimately you're just trying to go for points at the time. But I would piggyback that. I feel like to be the miner and win, you will need to be pretty lucky. I mean, because even though you can change the value of these die by doing an action, or maybe an upgraded action will allow you to alter that die, it's still, you only get 3 die. And so, and you have to do a lot to manage it. You have to manage the digestive tract. You really have to manage the immunization cards while trying to upgrade your abilities. And so you have a lot that you're trying to manage when things are being thrown at you, and you have 3 die to do it. And yes, you may have an additional use of that die if things lined up to where you can play it, because you have to have certain die values to upgrade tiles. You have to have certain die values to go and remove groups of cards that are in this digestive tract, or to collect the gem. And so, and another main thing is this deck of cards. Like I said, there's only 2 of each type, and I've played to where the last card in the deck was the gem that you needed.
Yeah.
And you get down to the last 2 or 3 cards, and it just, that was, you lost by then.
And you didn't make it that point because you got dissolved by bacteria. Or
so I will say, even in a solo, I like that there is a challenge to the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Because in solo, sometimes it feels like it's easy to accomplish a certain point total, or easy to win. So I like that there's a challenge here. I just feel like to accomplish and beat that challenge, you have to be super lucky that day.
Right.
And so even like you said, even with the beast versus a miner, I feel like the same thing. It is a little bit easier as a beast to manage things because you're just throwing everything at them, trying to complete your win conditions. Whereas the miner, you have to manage everything. And if you get an unlucky round, you can pretty much be done. Because say you had 2 of each type of gem, and you can only get 1 or 2 that round. And you need tools. It can be a burden where the cards just didn't come out the way you want, or the immunization cards came out to where you're pulling extra, and it just really floods it so that all your focus went from, oh, I need to get these gems, to, oh, I have to remove these cards.
I have to survive this round.
And it's just everything. So it's just, it can be very compartmental on what you have to do, and you see things that are about to slide past you.
Now, all that being said, I do want to be clear, there is still some luck involved being the beast player. Obviously, you're dealing with cards, and so luck of the draw plays a factor in what hand you have. Just feel like it's a little bit easier to manage as the beast player, deciding what order to put those cards in. And the cards you put out here allow you to earn energy, which is ultimately what allows you to play these immunization cards. So it's not as though you just get to throw these out there willy-nilly. You do have to earn them, and that requires you to be vulnerable putting out valuable cards to the miner. But as we've been saying, it feels as though you're able to manage that a little bit easier as the beast than you are the miner. At least that's been our experience. So let's get to our ratings on this game. Our score, scale of 1 to 10. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I don't care. I'll go first.
All right.
So I will say production quality is really well. Everything's linen finished. These are speckled dice.
Yes.
You have translucent gems that you can replace the cardboard.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know exactly which version this is, but this version, it wasn't the most upgraded version. I know that for sure. And so this may be just a base box.
And these are
these are screen printed wooden bits. So everything's been taken care of with the production of the game. It's easy to play. I mean, you can get it out, play it. You don't have to fumble through the rule book a whole bunch. Once you get through a game of each type, of each one, you can continue to play it pretty quickly without stumbling. It does have that challenge, like I said, so you're don't feel like it's easy and you beat it and you just never want to try again. But my con is, like we just talked about, it does feel like it's, at times you have to be super lucky. So I mean, as far as my score, I'd probably come in at like a 5.6 for me. It's not my favorite solo game. I'm not a big, I've started to get back into solo more, like I told you. It's not one out of the several that I've been playing recently that I'm like, okay, I played it several times on solo, but I'm kind of like, okay, I feel like I just have to be kind of super lucky to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd want to play this more as a 2-player game. That way you're, take turns switching off. And so it's not like one person's always a beast, one person's always a miner, but you're trading off so each one gets a feel for each. And then as you get more familiar with each one, maybe you can come up with a strategy that we haven't even figured out.
Right.
And it doesn't feel like you have to be that lucky. So it's just not my favorite solo or one that I would do. And then as a 2-player game, usually I try to break out cooperative 2-player games, or this could come out. It's tactical, but I feel like it's theme's great, but it's just not one that I feel is going to be one that I'm drawn to pull out super often.
For me, Jeremy mentioned the theme. The theme is my favorite part of this whole entire experience. I think it's wacky. It's off the wall. It's interesting. It's
Rule
something
book's
that,
created that way too.
Yes, yeah. It's something that makes you catch your eye to it and want to get it off the shelf. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it. It went to a bold theme, and I appreciate the fact that they've done that. Gameplay wise, as we've mentioned, it's a little underwhelming in my opinion. I'm right about where Jeremy said he's at. He said 5.6. I was going to say maybe 6.1, so a little bit higher than him. I will say I think if the more skilled or experienced player plays as the miner and the less skilled or experienced player plays as the beast, that can produce a better experience all around. And you can really have fun with the challenge of being the miner, because I do, as we've been saying, I think the miner is much more challenging. So if you play it that way, you probably will enjoy the aspects that are good about this game. As it is as a whole, not my cup of tea, not something that I would really probably go out of my way to play outside of the theme. So that's our thoughts on So You've Been Eaten. Let's get that box back out here. It is from LudiCreations. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this one. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified of all of our new great content. I'm Lance.
I'm Jeremy.
And we are Hard to Master, where we take a look at games that are
Hard to Master.
We'll see you next time.
See ya!